welcome. We're going to take a look at Chapter 1 of the Essentials of Social Media Marketing produced by Stukent, and take a look at the first half of this chapter in this video. So the learning objectives for this chapter are to understand how social media has changed over time, understand different platforms, describe how social media has changed or disrupted traditional marketing, learn the advantages and disadvantages of social media, define the commonly used social media metrics, explain why social media marketing is important, understanding the benefits of social media marketing, defining paid, owned, and earned media in the context of social media, and understanding social media skills gaps and careers in social media marketing. So we'll get started here with this PowerPoint in this lecture. And first off, we want to start with what a definition of social media is. So social media is defined as a form of electronic communication, such as websites and microblogs, through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content, such as videos. So today, almost every internet user can be reached on social media, and 1 in every 3 minutes spent online is spent on social media. So as social media continues to grow, so do consumers' time spent on all of these popular platforms. So we'll take a look at the evolution of social media. It used to be it would take about 75 years to reach 50 million people if you were picking up the phone and making phone calls. So in order to connect to 50 million people through the radio, it would take about 38 years, through TV, 13 years, through the web or the internet, 4 years. Then the advent of Facebook, 3.5 years to reach 50 million people. And I would say even now, that could be maybe days if you have content that goes viral. The next icon there is an iPod. So podcasting, you'd reach about 50 million people in 3 years. AOL doesn't really exist anymore. Draw something. And then Angry Birds, 35 days to reach 50 million people. And that just goes to show you the speed at which technology has advanced in the last 10 years or so. So around the world, the main thing we want to focus on here is these numbers. So these are billions with a B. We have about almost 8 billion people on the planet. About half of them are in urbanized locations. 5 billion of those people have mobile phones. Almost 5, so 4.5 billion use the internet. And almost 4 billion are active social media users. So over half the world's population uses the internet. And by the start of 2020, this active social media users amount reached almost 50% of the world's population. So social media has grown. Mobile phone usage has grown, as you are well aware. Back in 2015, so 5 years ago now, the time spent on mobile apps outpaced the time people were spending watching TV. And that's the reason that mobile is such an important space for us to pay attention to. So there's a survey that I've set up. That's kind of like an assignment for the course. So I'm going to kind of skip asking you those questions, but in the midst of this presentation, you may want to pause and go start answering some of those survey questions. So one of the main big questions is, do you remember the last time that you didn't have your phone close by? So 63% of people who have a smartphone keep the phone with them for all but an hour of the waking day. And 80% of them keep it with them for all but 2 hours of their day. Those are pretty significant numbers. And as you probably could testify personally, if you can't find your phone, you're kind of like the guy on the left here. You're kind of in a panic. You don't know what to do. So it's a critical tool for people. 25% of people can't ever remember their phone not being close to them. Some pretty astounding numbers. So, time on the internet. This is also going to be an assignment that's posted over in Canvas. Take a quick look over here. And this is in week 1. And you'll see here it's a discussion post. So the amount of time you spend on social media apps. Let's see how you compare. So average amount of time each day that internet users aged 16 to 64 spend with different kinds of media and devices. So we'll start at the low end here. An hour playing games, hour and a half playing music or listening to streaming, average of 3 hours watching TV, 2 hours on social media, and almost 7 hours using the internet. So think about how much time you spend on social media every day. Average person, based on these stats from 2020, spends about 2.5 hours every day, which equivocates to about 1/7 of your waking life. So I'll be interested to see what you calculate based on your own usage. So over time, just in the last 5 years, the number of active social media users with year-over-year change has grown very significantly. So number of users is up nearly 83% in the last 5 years. So all this time we spend on social media can add up to almost 5 years of your life spent on social media. So social media has had a pretty profound impact on traditional marketing, as well as how people communicate or give feedback, and in general, um, using methods of communication that don't even involve words like emojis. So 2015's Oxford Dictionary, the word of the year was the face with tears of joy emoji. So face-to-face, word-of-mouth conversations are no longer a requirement for communicating. You can share positive or negative experiences you've had with a worldwide audience, not just your local friends or consumers. And it's also shifted the power to the consumer and away from the business. So there's a YouTube video that we're going to watch. So I'm going to have you pause this video in just a second and hop over to Canvas, and we'll take a look at this video called Dave Carroll's Story. So Dave Carroll was a gentleman who had his prized guitar damaged on a United Airlines flight. Guitar was worth about $3,500, and he spent about 9 months fighting with United Airlines to recover the cost of damages before he decided to tell his story online. And so as a songwriter and traveling musician, he created a video for about $150 with some of his friends and shared his experience and posted it on YouTube. The video has been watched over 17 million times and made this Dave guy pretty famous. So within 4 weeks of the video being posted, United Airlines stock price fell 10% and cost its stockholders $180 million in value. all for a dispute over a $3,500 guitar. So go ahead and pause your video here and go back over to Canvas and click on the Dave Carroll story video and watch that. So next, after watching the Dave Carroll video, you can see how powerful that capability is now, and even more so with new social media platforms. So just like Dave Carroll created his own music video, we are able to become content creators for brands on social media. And the phrase we use for this is user-generated content, or UGC. So this is any content that you can produce for an online service or on a website. This can create some opportunities for brands to show people using their products, and it helps them build some pretty strong customer relationships. So Frito-Lay capitalized on some user-generated content for its Doritos Crash the Super Bowl contest. And they credit their campaign with helping to grow Doritos from a $1.5 billion brand in 2006 to a $2.2 billion brand in 2016. So they received 32,000 submissions and awarded over $7 million in prize money. So this, again, another video you can go watch out here in Canvas, and it's the Doritos UGC campaign. So go ahead and pause this video and go take a look at that. So user-generated content campaign. This one is the hashtag #ArieReal. This encouraged customers to post unedited pictures of themselves in bathing suits using the hashtag, and it helped the company leverage role model influencers such as Olympic gymnasts, Paralympic athletes, and they became a source of inspiration for women around the world. In 2020, they launched another campaign called by the same name, #ArieReal Change Initiative, and it awards 20 change makers with $20,000 to help make the world a better place. So user-generated content can be very persuasive and useful for brands. So the internet, when we say that, we really consider mobile and desktop, has overtaken TV to become the largest advertising medium globally. And now TV is shifting to mobile, as have many social media networks, by expanding to create made-for-social TV-style content. So this chart's pretty persuasive as well. This is why we push mobile first quite a bit. 2017 versus 2020, the internet, which is mobile and desktop, has now overtaken TV, and you can see mobile has significantly taken over and left the global marketing ad spend of 2017 significantly lower. So social media's role in the consumer purchase journey has expanded as consumers search and make purchases directly through social media platforms. So almost 50% of all global internet users are following brands on social media, and 28% of users say they use social media for product research. And social is actually surpassing search engines in the 16 to 24-year-old demographic. So Here's a series of questions too. What are the advantages of social media? What are the disadvantages? So think about what those might be for you. Why do you think social media is important? Why is it advantageous? And then think about what are the disadvantages. So some advantages are that using platforms that allow for unlimited access, um, they're free, which is, I think, pretty important. I think a lot of people are still unwilling to pay for content. Social media makes brands more visible by exposing them to larger audiences, allows for easy identification of your target audience. It really enhances customer service if it's done right through two-way communication, through chat, through email. Increase your brand awareness, higher conversion rates, improves search engine ranks, increases your website traffic, and allows for measurement pretty much in real time through analytics. The disadvantages, though, are also pretty profound. It makes finding and hiring talent difficult due to the social media skills gap, which we'll talk about at the end of this chapter. We lack that emotional face-to-face connection. We can hide behind the keyboard a little bit too much. It opens up your brand to negative feedback, requires more resources to manage. Also sets up some unrealistic customer expectations. There's risk of hacking or security. You need daily and sometimes hourly monitoring. Deals with potential of inappropriate behavior, including bullying, harassment. It can be viral, so that can be positive and negative if it affects your brand reputation. And it can be difficult to measure your return on investment. So here are some social media metrics that we'll take a look at. And this is where we'll finish the first half of the chapter. So we've talked about call to action, CTA, and so this is the item in your social media message that will persuade somebody to perform a desired action. Register, click, buy. So clicks are how many times a person has clicked on your post. A URL click is how many times somebody has clicked on your call to action URL. Engagement is a combination of different interactions. It could be likes, comments, shares, and also in some cases clicks. Then your engagement rate is the percentage of your audience that is engaged with your content. So we calculate this by dividing the number of engagements with the total reach. So I'll skip down here to total reach, which is also consider your impressions. So it's the number of times people have seen any activity from your account, including posts or posts to your page by other people, ads, and more. So we take all those impressions, all those eyeballs, and we divide them by the number of engagements. We come up with an engagement rate. Followers, number of people who have followed or like your social media account, and that will see your posts in their feeds. And then mentions are the number of times a person or business tags your business or your profile in social media posts.